Wait a minute, hold up. Is there an alpha spawn? What's up, fellas? How are we doing today? I was gonna start the stream, but then I saw all these people running by. You can tell what's going on in PokeMMO. Anyways, what's up, fellas? Good morning. Sick Patrouski tuning in here. I've got my green tea and honey in the Step Brothers cup. Tell me if that's illegal. Let me know in the comments. How are you doing today? Let's jump into another PokeMMO stream recap. This is 422. I can't believe we've been here for this long. Another day of just keeping up to date with your daily source of tips, tricks, news, information, and what's happening inside the PokeMMO community. Let's go ahead and jump into the catch events. I love covering catch events. If you don't know, catch events are an activity that happen like 3 to 4 times a week. We also have some, I believe, new staff members in PokeMMO, which just further shows, in my personal opinion, the growth of the game. They have been trying to expand the staff team pretty actively over the past year or so, and we see that here with a few of the staff members hosting these upcoming events. But there is the Golurk catch event we've covered before slightly, but I'm going to go over it every single time. The 13th of December at Saturday at 11 a.m. ET over in Dragon Spiral Tower in Unova. You can catch Golets and Alterias there, and the nature bonuses are on screen right now, and there's a chance to win a shiny Golett, save a bunch of Pokeyen on the shiny hunt, as well as get it like competitive. For those who don't know, hidden ability access Golurk is actually one of the best lead Pokemon. Ooh, that is so insanely loud. Sorry to the ears out there, but thank you for the subs, Research Bear. Holy guacamoles. Okay, for those who don't know, Golurk is actually hidden ability Golurk with the no guard ability. One of the best single encounter lead shunting mons in the game. Technically like the best, just barely. Fantastic Pokemon to get to win for free from an event like this, as well as you can get some free RP right before the Christmas event, which is coming up in like 16 days. That's crazy to me that we're that close. Next up, the Cacturn event coming up on the 14th of December, Sunday at 1 p.m. ET over at Route 228 in Sinnoh. You have 1 hour to catch Cacturn, Cacnea, Rhydon, Hippo, as many as possible in the hour. And then there's a nature bonuses of +5 for Adamant, Naughty, and Rash. And there is, once again, there's a lot of shiny catch event prizes recently. Haven't seen a non-shiny reward in a while, which is really cool to see during the happy holidays. We see Cacnea here, a beautiful shiny Cacnea. Not the most pragmatic Pokemon. I'll be upfront. I'll be honest. Cacturn doesn't really do a whole lot in PokeMMO. I believe it was used in like one raid one time. It's a decent mixed attacker. It has really high base attack and high base special attack, but then its bulk and speed are both lacking. So it's hard to really get it to function, but it was usable in one raid, like on like Trick Room, if I recall correctly. And I believe that the last catch event, not this one, excuse me, but the I think it's Ven or something like that. Let me if I can grab it really quick. Actually, the person who is hosting the Golett catch event, I believe, is a newer staff member. I believe Ven. Yeah, they have 183 posts, so it's still like a fair bit. But I wasn't following them on the forums. I try to follow every single staff member in PokeMMO to keep the tabs up on what's happening. So if you are newer, Ven, welcome. If not, my apologies for only noticing, now. I believe T-Wick as well is newer, if I recall. Maybe not new, but newer. He only has 19 posts or so, and he's also hosting this upcoming Miss Magius. I love the art for this. This Miss Magius catch event is super beautiful. I'm obsessed with this art. Friday the 19th of December at, what is that? What's the time? Is that 6 p.m.? Terrible. At 6 p.m. ET, it's my time zone, 6 p.m. ET, in the Safari Zone in Johto, over at the forest area. You have 1 hour to catch Misdrevius, Abra, Bellsprout, Haunter, and Ghastly as possible with the mentioned species bonuses, as well as a chance to win a shiny Misdrevius really quickly here in this event. And then the RP is actually split up more evenly for this event. First place getting 500 RP, second and third and fourth all getting 500, everybody getting 500 RP as well. First place just gets that shiny prize. Now, I wanted to also show off the trade corner, a pretty under-visited area of the PokeMMO forums. I think it's a really cool place. You can shout out some really cool people buying really cool things over here. I love collecting retro Pokemon and older Pokemon like this, and it's cool to show people how people are actively collecting, how people are selling and things like that. I personally have like some 2012s and a pretty big 2013 collection. I love 2013 Pokemons in PokeMMO because that's the year that I started playing the game. So I have a lot of nostalgia. One of the coolest things is looking for your old teammates' names and like trying to find their old comps or Pokemon you even remember. It's a really cool, beautiful experience because the game is like large enough but also small enough, especially back then, to be able to try to find those things. It's pretty rare, but you can find them. But I wanted to shout out, this person is buying any 2013 shinies. I wanted to show off his collection, so shout out to Jesta. This is a very, very cool collection over here, if you ask me. I thought it was really cool. This is like a lot of 2013 shinies to own. A ton. And then next up, another person selling a bunch of 2013 Pokemon. This at first, like you said, this box is not that much, but you scroll down, this guy has so many. All right, hopefully I saved the recappers from the coughing fit. I am quite sick, but you know what? That's okay. What's better to do on a sick day than play PokeMMO? The only thing that would be better if there was like a few inches of snow outside, maybe a foot, 1 to 2 feet of snow. That would be the only thing that make me a little bit happier. Anyways, this guy has so many 2013 Pokemon, including like multiple Shuckles you can see here. This is tempting. I thought it was a really cool collection. This is so many boxes, man. This like, let's go to the very top. This is like 3 boxes, 3.5 almost 3.5 boxes of 2013 Mons. That's, if you want to buy some, check them out. I thought it was a really, really insane collection. Yeah, and a lot of people are just getting sick right now. It's like, you know, early, that flu season type area, right? So anyways, next up, I want to see if it's still active. I was actually just watching it a little bit before the stream started, but it is no longer active. There was an NU tournament live, and I thought this got me fucking hyped up, dude. There was a Haunter in the finals, an Alpha Haunter in the finals of an NU tournament. That, dude, that got me hyped up. For those who don't know, not only Haunter, but Ghastly used to be an NU demon back in the day, and then eventually Haunter. Like, wait, yo, that's... Look at this. Here, let me show you actually in game really quick. But like, look at this. Not many games played, to be fair. This is probably not an accurate representation, but Haunter popping up. We see Eviolite Haunter popping up in NU. It is making me feel like it's 2013, 2015 all over again. This is really cool to me. Very cool Pokemon to see. The NU metagame looks honestly so interesting to me right now. It looks very bulky, but it's not... Like, it doesn't look stall orientated to me. That's my, I could be wrong. Obviously, I'm not actively playing the tier, but I see a lot of bulk, and I bet you it's a lot of balanced teams. I see, you know, with the screenshot. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. We see like Golbat, Drudagon, Lantern. This is like the top team's like a balanced team is what it seems like. Golbat, Lantern, Drudagon are all like tanky, bulky Mons, and then the other half of his team is like hyper offense. Sharpedo, Gallade, Sceptile. I don't know which of these players won, by the way. Congratulations to either. I don't know who did, but congratulations. And then the bottom guys team, you know, we see that the tank Mons are like Melodic, Altaria, Steelix. It's like 3 bulky tanky, and then like 3 offensive. But then like Haunter, Cinccino, Toxicroak. There's some really, like, this is like the teams right now are really diverse looking and really interesting in my opinion. Just observing the NU tier. Next up, let's go about the PokeMMO Community Showcase. If you want to be involved in the Community Showcase, potentially get your achievements in-game shown on the live stream, check out my Discord. There should be a channel called like Achievement or Community Showcase. Someone got their first ever Shiny. Congratulations to, I believe, Tricova in-game. Tricova in-game got his first ever Shiny. It was a Shiny Smeargle, and this represents what like welcoming new players in PokeMMO is all about, in my opinion. This person, his team was nice enough, was kind enough to like gift him some Leppa berries along the way to continue his shunt. Dude, I think that's beautiful. It's what like early PokeMMO is all about, getting people into shiny hunting. It's not an activity for everyone, but if you can like convince someone to try it, they can fall in love with it. I think this is a really good example of that. Hopefully he continues. Congrats to him on his first ever shiny at 19,000 encounters. A really cool Pokemon to see. Next up, this is from Invictus Prime, who was also a 0.6% like top viewer of mine, which is fucking crazy. Thanks for watching all the videos, man. Secondly, they bred up a 5x31 OT Shiny Nidoking. Not only does this take you actually hunting the Nidoking, which is really, you know, time consuming and expensive and all these things, breeding it up to 5x31 is ludicrously expensive, and it has hidden ability access. This is like a peak like dream shiny for so many people. Congratulations, Invictus. And then finally, this was a cool one. This is an Iron Man's Shiny Vanillish. Iron Deadpale got himself a Shiny Vanillish at 30,000 encounters, almost on the dot. Came out with these stats, which is ludicrous, and its mild nature. So he got himself a wild Vanillix that he can now use in upcoming raids and Christmas. Wild caught shiny. PVM, PvP-ish usable on an Iron Man account. So fucking sick. Congrats to him. Really, really cool to see. That's it for the intro. Let's go jump into the actual gameplay and see what we're working on today. If you have any questions in chat, let me know. Let's go ahead and play this beautiful game we all love with PokeMMO. This is a fantastic question. Hey, Patrouski, am I missing out on only having English selected in-game? Am I unable to see Chinese listed Mons on the GTL? No, you shouldn't be. I don't believe so. You should not be missing out on Pokemon listed on the GTL. It's a great question though, but you will be missing out on like global chat or trade chat if you care about that. I have all languages on in PokeMMO because I think it actually is really important. I have used Google Translate at times to do certain trades or to, you know, get certain things or certain prices. I think utilizing, I've talked about it before, but I'll say it all the time, right? PokeMMO is an extremely international game. Being multilingual is an insane asset in this game, and being willing to use Google Translate, insane, you know, not perfect, but an insane asset. It's a really beautiful thing, in my opinion, to try to have all languages on. But if you're not the most social person, it's not gonna cost you that much at the end of the day. But for certain niche things, it is nice. I always talk about how, like, during Shiny Wars, a big reason Field Team 7 was able to take home the win was because they were able to buy Dittos from Chinese players, and they had, like, otherwise they would have ran out of supply from other regions of the world, that's how many Dittos were being consumed, which is just crazy. So great question. Also, I'm in love with this new plush. This was one of the advent calendar presents my wife got me. It was off stream, but I don't know how she found this. She said she can't find it on the internet again. It is hard to find shiny plushies in my experience of Pokemon, and I'm not even I like shiny Cubone, but the green on this, I'm obsessed with this. I think this is a sick plushie. Shout out W Wife, obviously wife guy, Keck W. It's a new plushie that'll be permanently in the background on stream. He's chilling back there. One of my new favorites. Why do you have so many Alakazams in your box? Great question. It's for synchronized Pokemon. Now, I dedicate this. It's a good question. Like, how many slots? I dedicate this many slots to synchronized Pokemon on my Ironman account, because that's how important it is. Especially on, like, an Ironman account, you want to do so many catch events. Catch events are your only way to get RP, or one of your PvP tournaments and catch events, but one of your only ways to get free RP on, or earn RP at all on an Ironman account. So having those synchronized mons, especially on an Ironman account, is super important. I recommend main accounts trying to get like a level 50 speed EV train synchronized Kadabra of every valid nature as well. You don't need every nature, like things like Gentle and Lax almost never come up, but like almost every nature like has a use. Things like Jolly, you know, Adamant, Bold, Impish, like there's Gentle, we even have that, but it's not really used that much. Rash, Sassy, Naughty, Mild, Careful, like almost everything is used during certain catch events, and just certain, like I've been farming for Pokemon recently for raids, and I've used my synchronized mons a ton while farming for my Weaviles, my Vanillix, you know, what other mons did I farm yesterday? My Torkoal, my Poliwhirl, things like that. Yeah, no, super fair. Especially talking about like the difference between like Showdown PvP players and PokeMMO PvP players, and that sort of difference in Q. Pidgeot said it's easy to write off Pokemon players. There's a lot of good consistent players here, just like on PokeMMO Showdown, or just like a Pokemon Showdown. I wish I queued into them more often. Yeah, dude, I was doing the I'll be honest, I didn't do it on, I did it off stream, so I did already check this, but I have something called the Frags test, the Frags Theorem, which is if you check the leaderboards in PokeMMO, you will almost always see a player named Frags in the top, here he is, in the top 100 of at least like one tier, sometimes multiple tiers. This is Frags. I believe Frags was like the winner of like the first big PvP tournament in PokeMMO way back in like 2012, 2013. This guy has been one of the best PvP players in the game consistently for over a decade. His name is legendary. He might be like the #1 legendary PvP player in Pokemon, at least for old heads like me, but he's definitely up there. It is unbelievable how often you can like check the leaderboards, and like you'll almost always see him every month up in the top 100. It's just for some tier, it's crazy. Sometimes multiple tiers, but I think right now he's just rank 18 in the world in OU. You know, no big deal. It's just so it's consistent as well. This should be a great quick question. Pat, do you think it would be beneficial to build every raid team right now prior to raids coming out, or make a bunch of Pokeyen right now and buy more Pokes when needed each day? I think building every raid team now is so much more important personally. Nobody really knows for sure. Generally, PVM Pokemon and good IV Mons like go up a lot during events because people are, you know, don't prepare ahead of time. Preparing ahead of time is always cheaper, and you'll be able to use it for years to come. If you build the Xmas raids for this year, it's not just for this year. You know, you'll be able to use those same Mons most likely next year, or in other activities, other events, other raids where the Pokemon, the species cross over. You know, a lot of PVM Pokemon in Pokemon are just used for so many different activities, and we're still kind of in the early stages, in the early beta testing of raids in a lot of ways. Once they add ideally permanent raids and things on the line, like you can't have too many PVM Pokemon. I think the biggest thing is when you're a newer player, it takes a lot of time in Pokeyen to make those PVM Mons. So I get it, you know, it's really tough. But it is kind of like you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your account, and you're building down the line, and there's not like, it's hard to make a PVM Mon to where it's not worth it. You know, it's almost always worth to have at least one species of PVM Mon that can of like almost any Pokemon in the game. There's just so many uses, which is really cool. I think one of the coolest things in Pokemon is like how many Mons get utilized and become meta in raids because of the unique mechanics. Yeah, so someone was asking about like, Patrouski, what's a list of like a small list of Pokemon to be able to do the Xmas raids, similar to how I did a video covering like 20 Pokemon to build for Halloween. And in my opinion, you probably could maybe do around 25 to like 30, which is still like, you know, like a pretty big list of Mons, right? But like you can't stimp as much. There's way more Xmas raids. For Halloween, there was like 8 raids. For Xmas, there's like 14. So there's like almost double the raids, and the raids are like 50% harder, and you need a lot more variety of Pokemon. There's not really a list that I know of like a really small amount of Mons to build. You kind of have to build whatever was needed last year. It was like I have a full raid prep guide. Xmas raids are going to be a lot more difficult. They're going to be a lot harder. They're going to be a lot more required. You can't really stimp on them as much as Halloween raids, in my opinion. We were checking, like, if you had the fire/fighting type teams, like both of those 2 raid teams for Halloween, you could do like almost like, I think all but 1 or 2 raids. You could literally do almost all the raids with those 2 teams. For Xmas, you could only do like 6. I was just checking my documents or whatever. You can only do like half, like 6 to 8 out of the 12 to 14 raids, right? Depending on how many they do, right? So you can do so much less if you only have those 2 raid teams. You also need like dark type raids and dark type raid attackers. And what's the other one? Electric type raid attackers are way more important. Ice type raid attackers are really important. I cover all of this. Please check out my, questions are awesome, but if I have the answers in videos, check those out. My Xmas raid prep guide is very detailed. I put a ton of work into it. Check that out if you're curious about what you need for the upcoming Xmas raids. This is a fantastic question from Gim28. Since you've played the Iron Man for so long, like 6 months or so at this point, what are your favorite activities that you miss doing on your main account? And then what are your favorite activities you didn't do while playing your main account, and what's your least? So the thing that I miss the most on my main account is just shiny hunting, the ease of shunting, because you have way less time on an Iron Man account. So like, yes, you can shunt on an Iron Man account. You can't really Lepa shunt as much, like nearly as much. It takes way longer. Like, look at like my processing of all the Pokemon, all the things I caught, all the items I got, all the goodie bags. The processing of all of my stuff from the Halloween event took like 30 to 40 hours of gameplay. Like, processing all of my rewards from the Halloween event took so long, and I had to do all of that before I could get back to shiny hunting or do what I want to do, or even like preparing for the I haven't now I'm just preparing for the Xmas event, so like you have less free time on an Iron Man account inherently. So I do miss that on my main account, as well as the thing that I love that I get to do on the Iron Man account that I couldn't really do efficiently on the main account is catching Pokemon. I love catching Pokemon. I love the gameplay loop of catching Pokemon, and we've talked about it a million times. Catching for profit is not as ideal anymore. I can't remember the last time on my main account where I ran back and forth. Like, catch events are fun. When you reach hyper endgame on a main account, most catch events aren't worth doing efficiently. They are fun, but they're not worth doing efficiently, and that feels really bad, right? So like, I love on an Iron Man account, all catch events are super efficient. It's your only way to win RP. So catch events are like super efficient, super encouraged. Catching Pokemon for breeders, always efficient, always encouraged. I think that like basic Pokemon gameplay loop is just really fantastic to have back in my rotation. Alrighty, fellas, that's where we're gonna go ahead and call it. We got a ton done today, pushed through our sickness to hopefully talk about some cool things, answer some questions. If you enjoyed the stream recap, let me know by liking the video. That helps out a ton. Dislike if not, that's okay. Subscribe to the channel for daily Pokemon videos. I do upload every single day. Follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Discord's down below if you want to go above and beyond and support during the holiday season. It helps out a ton. YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, PayPal and Venmo donations do help out tremendously and allow me to stay here, keep the lights on. You guys allow me to do this. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. For now, peace, Reno. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here. I wanted to take this second to say thank you so much for watching the entire video. It is thanks to people like you I'm able to make the content that I do, as well as everybody whose name is listed here. That's it for me. Have a fantastic day.